Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's StepsBasic, and welcome back to the Comfy Cozy Community Show. Hello. So, again, I wanted to come back here and apologize for my emotional outburst last week. I know this is actually kind of indicative of the problem of it all, where I feel like I need to apologize for having emotions, but that's neither here nor there. There were a couple of things I did want to address about last week's video. Specifically, thank you all for, the support that you all offered. I had one what I would consider improper comment, which tried to turn my talking about my emotions into an attack on women, which is not okay. Of course, that might also have been my own improper interpretation of the comment, which was chicks talk, men do, implying some sort of a inability of women to actually accomplish anything. Or I should say, that's what I inferred from the comment. Not cool. Because this isn't the competition, and we shouldn't turn it into a competition. We each and all have our own issues and problems, and to put down some other one's problems just because mine exist is not right. You know what I mean? But anyway, apart from that, I did want to say thank you both to my friend, people call it poetry, and Bubble Ninja. I recommend checking out their channels. They're kind of cool. But yeah, and for their support. And my buddy brought up an interesting point regarding the comment I made. It was a little offhanded, comparing toxic masculinity to stoicism, and he asked whether or not that was a thing, and it's like, my biggest problem with the idea and the narrative surrounding the idea of toxic masculinity is that no one actually seems to know what they're talking about when it comes to it. And so they just tack things onto it. Some people refer to men's behavior simply as toxic masculinity or just toxic in general. Some people refer to the macho men, the over the top, barbarous, freaking what do they call themselves these days? The chads out there are examples of what toxic masculinity is, i.e., just can't hurt my emotions, blah, 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 blah. And of course, I've also heard stoicism referred to as a toxically masculine trait, which is stupid in my opinion, because one of the most stoic people I know is a woman who, is actually pretty darn good at it. And it always comes down to a matter of just maintaining your emotions until the point when it's safe to release them. You know what I mean? That's what stoicism is. It's not letting your emotions get in the way of, getting stuff done. But anyway, thank you all again for your support and everything in that. So today's topic is much more lighthearted, and kind of ties back to last week. And it's the weird things that make me cry. And it's not like bawling down, breaking down, crying when I talk about seriously bad things that have happened in my life. It's more of a why. Now, some of the things are really, obvious things. Romances. I see people falling in love. I'm like, oh, yay. Or I see, cute puppies, getting rescued from stuff. I'm like, yay. And of course, the friggin' military member coming home and seeing their family for the first time. Man, that always gets me. Ah. Seeing that just makes my heart go, oh. And then tears just start flowing and like snot everywhere. But there are other times when it's like, why am I getting choked up about this? It's not like it's a particularly emotional thing. I mean, yes, in some case it is, like Christmas commercials and commercials that feature families just enjoying their company with each other. Those always get me. I always get a little bit choked up. That one, I guess I can tie that one back to just either a mournful like I want that, or a similar tie to, like, oh, I wish I had have had that one growing up, that sort of thing. Because as it is, I got a pretty decent family life. I love my family, and we do get to enjoy our Christmases together and all that stuff. So it's weird, but one that I think is possibly the weirdest though is like anime fight scenes when it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's like, but this isn't even my final form sort of situation where the hero just suddenly superpowers up, and it's like you got the music swelling and everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe he's pushing past that situation. I'm just getting all excited, and I get all getting excited. It's like, what the heck, man? Why am I tearing up over this? This isn't I'm a crying moment. This shouldn't be a moment where I'm like, yay. This should be a moment like, yeah, fire, destruction. But for some reason, anytime we get one of those moments, and it's not like the end of the battle or anything. It's just like it's somewhere in the middle where they finally found that gusto to get out there and kick some butt, right? I don't know why I do it, but it happens. Like I'd say those are probably the weirder ones, like commercials and the what do you call it, the super power up moment in an anime. Sorry, this part's actually being recorded afterwards because I just remembered while I was editing there were two other things that I wanted to talk about in regards to this topic. There are two songs which I cannot make it through without crying, and I'm trying to remember. The first one, and is one that always gets me. The first song that always gets me is "Cats in the Cradle" by Harry Chapin, or Chapin. I don't know how it's pronounced, but oh my god, it's a song about a man whose wife gives birth, and he starts to my child arrived just the other day, and like as soon as I hear the bars and that part pop up, I already immediately start getting choked up, because it's a song about being there for your family and whatnot, and the whole thing starts off with Harry singing about how his child just arrived, but he was too busy to be there, and then as the kid is like hitting these milestones and whatnot. Sorry, dad has to go work. And the kid's like, I'm gonna be like you someday. I'm so proud of you, Dad. It's like, no, stop. And that sort of thing. That song always freaking gets me, because it's like, if you haven't heard the song, "Cats in the Cradle" by Harry Chapin, I don't know. But if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend it. It is a beautiful song with a beautiful message about being there for the important parts of your life, your kid's life, your family life, and all that. Always got to be there for it. And then the other one, yeah, and then the song by Live called "Lightning Crashes." Oh God. It's funny just thinking about these songs. This gets me all broken up and stuff. Oh, it's this song is it's similar in nature, that it's about family, but in this particular song, it's about a man's wife is giving birth, but she dies in the process, and I told you, man, I can't think about these songs without getting broken up. But lightning crashes, an old mother cries. The line about the placenta always kind of puts me a little bit off, because it catches me off guard. Like, her placenta falls to the floor. It's like, do you know what a placenta is? It's kind of weird. But yeah, that song right there, because I mean, it's about losing your mother, losing your wife or your girlfriend or something, and in the process of gaining your child, and it's like, no, it shouldn't be a trade-off. It should be all of you all together happy and everything, but then it's like, And admittedly, that was one of my fears, you know, growing up, that, I would get married and we'd go to have a kid and then the wife would die in the middle of childbirth. And I was like, no. Ah, but yeah, those, I just want to add those because it occurred to me while I was editing, like those two songs really break me up. Anyway, back to the video. So I guess my question for the day would probably be tied to that. What do you think? What do you think is the weirdest moment or weirdest thing that makes you cry? And you can say onions because onions don't make everyone cry. I don't cry with onions, so you can say onions. um, Apart from all that, we did watch Into the Spider Verse or Across the Spider Verse yesterday for Father's Day. I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go watch it. I do kind of want to do a review of it, but unfortunately, I have this issue where I need to watch it several times before I can actually feel comfortable reviewing it. But that was fantastic, man. Get in there and watch that. Apart from that, I don't really have a whole lot for today, and I kind of have to have a short episode because I have a lot going on. And kiddo's home again this week, so yeah, I don't really have time to edit as much as I'd like. So I'm just gonna jump right into announcements, which actually technically that is part of the announcements. So I got an episode of Resident Evil for every day this week. I do have this episode, and I hope to have oh, excuse me. And I hope to have another episode of something else later, but I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to get it up because I played The Lies of P, which honestly another one I was super surprised with how cool it was, and the demo itself, I was like, oh, it's going to be like an hour maybe to play this, and I turned around and friggin' I was 4 hours of playing that demo before I realized I'd been playing for that long. So I highly recommend you download that demo off the PlayStation or off your PC store or whatever store you use. I think it's on Steam too, but yeah, I played it on PlayStation. So I highly recommend you get out there and give that a try because oh my god, that was so cool. And if you like Bloodborne, you'll probably like this. Not so much blood, but a lot of oil splashed around. And yeah. Overall, though, I think that's all of my announcements for this week. Sorry for the short episode. Next week I should have a better length episode because next week I'll be on my own again. But yeah, apart from all that, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Community Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, just gonna poke that like button for me. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And when I can, if I can. Just tune in next time for another topic, another time. And until then,